While the girls watch the boys who watch the girls go by, eye to eye, they solemnly convene to make the scene, which is the name of the game. Watch a guy or watch a dame on any street in town, up and down.
Abbiamo naturalmente saputo di questa inchiesta, però naturalmente forse pochi di noi conoscevano i dettagli. Lei quando si è innamorato di questa storia?
I think the first time I became aware of it, well, first of all, let me just thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for having all of us. We're so happy to be here. So let me start by saying that. I first became aware of it in the United States. There was a big uproar, as we dramatized in the film, over the story that initially ran on 60 Minutes too. I didn't see the initial story the Wednesday night they ran it, but I certainly saw the coverage starting on Thursday, because it blew up so quickly. And I just sort of watched it as a citizen. I had no sort of interest in it cinematically until I read Mary Mapes' book, which she wrote about a year after all of this happened. So she lost her job and then very quickly wrote a book about it. And so I read that and contacted her, and she was still very much in a defensive crouch about what had happened. And I'd always been fascinated by journalism. If I hadn't gone into the cinema, I wanted to go into journalism. So for me, it was always sort of the road not taken. So I'd always been fascinated by films that take place in that world and characters who live in that world. And at the same time, I'd been looking for something to try and direct for the first time. So I think all of those things together, when I read her book and met with her and started to talk to her, get to know her as a person, and she's an incredible woman.
Vanderbilt, com'è stato lavorare con Cate Blanchett?
Journalists are superheroes?
The superhero in Spider-Man. Yes, do you think they're superheroes?
I do think they're superheroes. They're superheroes in a very different way, and it's a very different, type of film to be able to work on than Spider-Man, which was really fun. I like to work in different genres and play in different sandboxes. So this was, a different type of challenge, because you want to make a film exciting and you want to make people on the edge of their seats, but you're not blowing up cars and having people swing off buildings. So it has to be done with words and tension and hopefully great acting from actors like us. Forgive the language, she works her ass off. She really does. And she read the screenplay. She decided after a half hour on the phone with me that she wanted to do it. She just won the Academy Award for Blue Jasmine, and for some reason decided it would be a good idea to work with a first-time director next. So more power to her, and she threw herself into the role. She did a ton of research. She spoke to Mary a lot. They Skyped a lot, and she tried to get the mannerisms down and just learned about what the job is. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, hopefully not ad nauseum, getting the feeling of it right was really important to us, and the feeling of what that job is. I love movies that can take you behind the curtain of something and make you feel like that. And that's the most fun part of my job, is I actually get to go and sit with people and say, okay, so how does this work? How do you do this? When you get up in the morning, when you make your first phone call, when you check your email. So all of that, we wanted to make sure we weaved into this film as much as possible, so you really came away with a feeling of what it was like to work on a story in broadcast journalism.